Well, we've got a chance right now to talk with the newest member of the Minnesota Basketball Hall of Fame for the state of Minnesota. This is Sauk Centre girls basketball coach Scott Bergman. First of all, congratulations.
Thanks, Mark.
Let's talk about the state tournament and talk about that right away. Now that it's been a few days and you're kind of relaxed and you think back on it, what are some of the things that go through your head?
You know, what a fun week it was. You know, just some things that happened. I mean, I can't tell you how many texts and emails and tweets that I got from friends, and you know, the coolest part was former players that reached out and just congratulated me and the team, and you know, that part of it was really neat. But the thing I keep coming back to is our team played so well down there. They just refused to lose. You know how tough they were, and you know, that first game was pretty hairy. Certainly, it being down at halftime and playing a really good team. I mean, reflecting back, we really think that might have been the second best team down there. So for the girls to come back from that deficit was just a lot of fun.
Well, as I look at it though too, that's just playing Sauk Centre girls basketball, right, isn't it?
It is, and you know, another thing that I just keep coming back to is our girls for 33 games just came out and played their hardest every single game. They didn't take any time off. It would have been really easy during the regular season, maybe, if you're playing a team that doesn't have a very good record, to come out and not play hard, but they never did that.
I want to get back to more Sauk Centre girls basketball, but first let's talk about you being inducted into the Hall of Fame now. Let's take you back, okay? You're a kid from Frazee. Then what happens?
Yeah, you know, I graduated from Frazee, and my dad was a teacher and a coach, and you know, he kind of encouraged me to try something different. So I actually went to school and got a degree in computer programming and was a computer programmer down in the cities, and you know, it was okay, but it wasn't something that I loved to do. So I went ahead and got my teaching certificate and applied for Sauk Centre of all places, and 26 years ago got hired, and you know, just have had a blast. I mean, for the past 26 years, coaching the boys program for 10 years, and now being the head girls coach for 16 years. I just think I got one of the best jobs in the world.
So to become a good Sauk Centre girls basketball player, you know, when they first start out, you dribble right-handed, keep on going until you get down into that corner, and then you get double teamed and call for help. How do you get past that?
Yeah, you know, it is a process. There's no question about it. And I was just in the gym last night with our 5th and 6th graders running a spring program, and just talking. We challenged them with two things. We said, girls, let's get better at two things this spring. Let's get better with our left hand, and let's become a better shooter. So it's certainly a process. I mean, you know, starting with, you know, we really started getting after them in 5th and 6th grade with traveling league and in the spring program, and then do a bunch of stuff in the summer with them as well. And you know, we don't necessarily win a ton of games at that 5th and 6th grade level, because there's programs that start even earlier than that with games. But we just feel like if we get their skills better, by the time they get to be on the C squad and B squad, they have caught up to being game ready, and that's when those skills take over.
So let me ask you this then. To become a basketball player, there's other sports as well. And for these young athletes then, how do you balance this out? Because they love playing their volleyball, softball, and everything else. Yeah,
it's a challenge. I mean, if you're a 3-sport athlete, which, man, we really encourage. We want multi-sport athletes, and you know, that's something that I'm really proud of our team, is we've got multi-sport athletes. You know, I think the coaches here in Sauk Centre work real well together to make sure that there's as few conflicts as possible. But you're right, if you're a volleyball player, if you're a basketball player, if you're a softball player, you are really busy in the summer. And you know, we are cognizant of that and want to give them some time for themselves too. But it's that balancing act. I mean, we want to do enough to keep getting better, but yet we want them to be a kid too.
Mm-hmm. And that's just the issue then too, is almost how much is too much for some of these athletes?
You know, what we found is I've got some people saying, hey, you're not doing enough, and I've got some people saying, hey, you're doing too much. And when I hear that, then that tells me, you know, maybe we're in about the right spot. If I had everybody telling me, boy, you're doing too much, then we probably would be. So, you know, biggest thing in the summer is we do a skills development program in the mornings, a couple days a week, and I really think that's where they get their best bang for their buck. I mean, they're in the gym, they're working on their offensive skills, and then, you know, they can be done for the day and they can go do go to a job or go hang out at the beach or go do some other things. So, it's certainly that fine line.
As you've coached now for a long time, how have you seen not only just the game itself change, but just the players individually? What are they doing now that maybe they weren't doing, say, even 15 years ago?
Yeah, one of the things that, and this is nationwide, and I don't necessarily know it's with our program, but the statistics show that shooting has gotten poorer as the years have progressed, especially on the boys' side, because the guys, they want to be dunking it and things, and the girls, even last night in our 5th and 6th grade practice, I've got girls cranking up threes, and they're not shooting them, they're throwing them. So, I think that 3-point line and then certainly the guys dunking it have affected the shooting percentage overall.
And again, with the lower, do you lower the basket? Do you use a smaller ball, or what do you do?
At the 5th and 6th grade level, no. When at 3rd and 4th grade, we have some baskets that we can lower and things. But no, at that level, we just got to get them to move closer to the basket. I mean, they have to get to a distance where they can shoot it and not throw it.
Are you like me as you go through the years? Do all these teams kind of clump together a little bit and you kind of get fuzzy on when somebody played or when a team was playing?
I'm not very good at give me a player and I can tell them when they graduate. I'm not good at that. But I can go back to my very first team and then progress, and I can probably give you every senior on every team that I've coached. And down in my office at home, I've got a team picture that I can every once in a while I'll glance at a year and just kind of bring back memories of certain players.
I'm sure as each player has a different personality, do teams have that same thing?
Yeah, I think a team develops the personality of their leaders, and that's why this team was so tough. I mean, when I think of Mason and Kelsey and Kenzie, I mean, you talk about some tough players in our team, and Tori as well. That team developed that personality. And
as time goes on with each year, as you have the new players, you think back, do you reference then other players? And
I do. I think every year I tell the story of when Emily Russling was a senior, and that was a year where we did not have many wins, but at the end of the year she broke her nose in practice, and it would have been really easy for her to just call it quits for that season. But what she did was she played the last couple regular season games with a mask on, and then in between last regular season game and first playoff game, she went and had it set, and then played the playoff game with that mask on. So that's pretty tough. Mm-hmm. And that's not only tough, but that's being a great leader, because she was not going to let her teammates down.
And as you say, teammates, there's some names that you could go through if I asked you that, they're recognizable. But there's other ones, though, too. This is what you have to develop to form a good team, don't you?
Everybody's got a role. It's our job as coaches to find those roles, and then it's up to the players and us as coaches to encourage them to carry out those roles. I mean, not everybody's going to score a bunch of points, not everybody's going to get to play the minutes, but it takes 15 to 18 girls to form a team.
So as you have these teams, and obviously it takes some talent to then win some of these games, right. But how do you develop that then too, to where, again, it's just that progression to become a better basketball player?
And it's our philosophy of it's every day. I mean, we just don't take a day off. Before the season, the coaching staff sits down and says, okay, at the start of when we play our first game, this is where we need to be. These are the defenses we need to have in. These are the plays that we want in. And then you go from there. And then every day working towards that, because certainly the end result is come playoff time, we want to be playing our best.
So as a coach then, have you seen yourself change as a coach, and how so? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I remember when I was 16 years ago, when I was a first-time head coach, just wild on the sidelines and yelling at refs, and then you realize it's not doing any good. It's got to settle down a little bit. So I think I've calmed down a lot more on the sidelines. In practice, maybe I like to get after them in practice every once in a while, but I think that's the biggest thing is you mature as a coach just like players mature as players.
Can we go through some of the stats? I don't have them in front of me, but maybe you could rattle off a few things. How many times at the state tournament now?
We have been to the state tournament 8 out of the last 9 years.
Mm-hmm. And the overall record, and just say this senior group right now, what is their record since they've been in ninth grade?
Man, you know what? Chuck Lean just asked me that a couple days ago, and so we just did some calculating, and I mean, we've won more than 30 games the last 4 years. I think we came up with 126 wins then in those 4 years, and probably just 6 or 7 losses. So that is, you know, that part of it hasn't sunk in yet either. I mean, it's probably going to be 10, 20 years down the road when a person looks back and says, man, what a stretch that was.
Mm-hmm. So you've been doing this now for how long?
I've been coaching the girls for 16 years.
Okay. And what's the future hold for you? Is that to...
Well, you know, my plan, if my master plan holds true, you know, I'd like to work here another 7 years and certainly plan on coaching during that time. And so that's my goal right now is to be in this office and coach until I'm 62 years old, which is going to be in 7 years.
Okay. We'll hold you to that. Well, you got to have a plan though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right, so take us through what you're going to be experiencing now with the Hall of Fame banquet and things.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. It's down in Northfield. The games are at Carleton College, so our girls basketball coaches association has a weekend planned where they have the All-Star games, they have the Hall of Fame banquet, they also have the Miss Basketball presentation and things, and it's all taking place kind of over the course of a day and a half. So I think the dates are April 6th and 7th. It's a Friday night and then into Saturday. The induction ceremony takes place Saturday morning, and then, you know, just looking forward to it. Going to see some people I haven't seen for a while, and, you know, it's a big deal to me. It really is, Navi.
Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations on that. It's well deserved. There's no doubt about that. And I guess again, the record speaks for itself to where what you have accomplished here and capped off with the state tournament. But you're not done yet, though.
I hope not. No, it doesn't take long before you start thinking about your next team, and our coaching staff is getting together Monday morning to just kind of start visiting about that and what we need to get this team ready for, this time next year. And I'm going to have to do some studying because I'm going to have some tall girls now, and how can I use that to our benefit? Because the Shrimps are graduating, and I got some tall girls coming in, so that'll be fun. That kind of gets the juices flowing again. As far as and I like how Coach Reller said it. She said, we're not gonna do things better or worse. We're just going to be doing them differently. So I thought that was well said.
All right, sounds good to me. All right, congratulations again.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, that is Sauk Center girls basketball coach Scott Bergman, who is now the newest member of the Hall of Fame.